following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Nikki Spagnola.
And here we are inside the SWBC podcast studio, the brand spanking new SWBC podcast studio at the Star in Frisco. And this is Mick Shots. And this is Wednesday. And 2 weeks from today, I think, right? 2 weeks from today will be the official start of Giants Week.
You think?
After you... Oh yeah,
The work week begins really on Wednesday,
right?
And the Sunday night game on September. It's fast approaching. It can't get here soon enough.
Are they allowed to sneak in a practice on that Monday too?
They can, but the official start.
That,
I mean, it's
right?
Wednesday is the start of the work week.
All right,
officially in the
I'm
NFL.
with you
so
on
it's
that.
2 weeks from today. But we had a practice. We were able to enjoy either live, free, in person at Ford Center at the Star in Frisco, or streaming live on DallasCowboys.com last night. Cowboys night, and it was an eventful day. I don't know, Everson, if you realize just how eventful it was as Jerry Jones was making appearances throughout the afternoon.
No, sorry, sir.
I think you didn't watch. We had four press conferences yesterday.
What?
Four.
So, Jerry.
Well, it was
There
first
was sponsorship press.
Miller Lighthouse.
The
that
Miller
they
Lighthouse.
built here.
What can you
in
tell
the
us about
Star
the Miller
District.
Lighthouse, since Miller Lite is a proud sponsor of Mick
Mick
Shots?
Shots, right? One of the.
I better watch what I say then.
Do you get anything free in the Miller
I'm gonna
Lighthouse
have to
because
go
they're
check
a proud
that out,
sponsor?
Bill. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Do you get free beer?
do I get free beer?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay.
But
Let me know when you do.
It's a new sponsor though, right? They built one of the structures in the Star District is the Miller Lighthouse, and that's where people will go to sign up for their tours. By the way, of the Star, and that's what they'll start. And
I'm sorry, they had a press conference.
about that
for the grand opening of it
at the Miller Lighthouse.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and Jerry was there.
And Jerry was there, and then they had a press conference for the Texas Lottery.
Okay.
Which was just prior to Mike McCarthy's scheduled press conference,
And
which got delayed a half hour for
Then
McCarthy to speak.
Coach came up. That's three, right?
No, Jerry answered football questions at the Texas Lottery.
Okay.
So that was another one. And then Coach McCarthy at like
4:30 is when he got started,
Yeah.
and then Jerry addressed the crowd at the opening ceremonies of the Frisco portion of training camp, Cowboys night. He's excited about this football team, I would say.
It sounds like he is. And if you had listened to the pregame show Saturday from Seattle, he talked about how he was happy with the structure of the roster this year. So, and he reiterated yesterday a couple times, I think. So
So it was a pep rally.
well,
It was a pep rally.
if you want to call that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the feel.
That's kind of what it was.
Yeah,
it had
pep
the
rally.
feel
That's
of
cool.
a pep rally.
That's cool.
As we
That's
kick
cool.
off this season.
That's cool.
But you missed it.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, dang
That's
it.
why That's why you're here to get the lowdown on exactly what
I meant to
happened.
make it, but
Yeah.
I got a life.
So, Bill, did you get to watch any of the practice as you were broadcasting last night?
Barely.
That's what I figured.
He's got a life.
No, I was actually I was there, and Mickey was a part of it for 2.5 hours. We broadcasted it, but it was hard. But our vantage point,
His
it was
back
hard to
was
see.
to the practice.
Right.
Oh, gee, I know what that's like.
Yep. Maybe we started at 5:30. Now Mickey started at 6:15, even though he was supposed to be there at 5:30.
Bill just couldn't wait to point that out, right?
So, Mickey, as he leafs through his legal pad of notes there's so much to get to, including what happened during the practice last night. But how about we kick things off with you getting us up to speed on where this team stands injury-wise?
Yeah. So we know, I mean, we talked about it on Monday. I think it was official by then that DeMarvion Overshown tore his ACL, will be out for the season. He said that they hadn't scheduled the surgery yet. I thought he was pretty funny when he was talking about, they checked him. He walked off the field in Seattle and went into the blue tent. And next thing we know, he was getting carted into the locker room. And he said, yeah, when I got in the cart, I just thought they didn't want me to walk. I got a free ride to the locker room, not knowing that the doctors knew right then and there that he tore his ACL.
Yeah. He didn't look brokenhearted.
You know
when he was on the cart.
And when we talked to him, he was pretty upbeat still. And Jerry Jones made a point of saying, I've got to get Michael Irvin with him because Michael...
Interesting. Who said that the other day?
I wonder.
Bill
On this
Jones
show,
say?
we talked
wonder.
about that the other day.
Yeah, and he said that he wants to get Michael Irvin with him because he said Michael Irvin told me that, through that recovering from his torn ACL in 1989, that's why he ended up where he was and caused him to work harder. And I asked DeMarvion when he got done talking yesterday, I said, has Jerry talked to you yet about it? He goes, no, but I hear that he wants me to get with Michael, and he just had a good outlook at
He's got
things.
that personality about it. He's
Right.
got a very positive outlook on life.
I'd be crying in the corner.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it probably gave him a false sense of that, okay, well, maybe I'm okay when he was able to walk under
Yeah.
his own power off the field.
Right. So, but
But you've seen that a lot with ACLs where guys actually
sure have, Bill.
will are able to actually continue playing in a game and they've already torn their ACL.
So, the good thing is that, he realizes this is his new job, is to rehab and get ready for next year. And he'll have time now. He should be ready to go probably by May of next year.
You look at the timeline on Terrence Steele.
Right?
He tore his ACL early December. And he was, he worked hard in the rehab program, and he was going full tilt by the start of training camp.
Right, exactly.
And he was able to do some stuff during OTAs as well. And but having said that, not all ACL tears are the same. And
Well,
hopefully
plus it's sometimes if you're going to have that happen, it's good to have it happen when you're extremely young. And he
like
would
in the
be-
case of Michael Irvin,
he'd be able to come out of that in good fashion. And when you get older, it's always tougher. If you at the end of your career, we talked about old man injuries last year. And this is not an old man injury. This is something that happened. It's almost like Tommy John surgery.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Well, some pitchers have Tommy John surgery before they even
Get to the majors, right?
But it's almost like most successful pitchers in Major League Baseball, they've all had
already
Tommy
had it.
John surgery.
They've
It's almost
already
like something that you have to go through
Yeah.
to strengthen your arm to be able to pitch at that level.
I think the hard thing for him to swallow is the fact that, we knew he was going to make the team, but he was going to have a role on this defense as in the change-up defenses, and he was going to be a core special teams player, and that was one of the things John Fossil, I'm sure, he's probably more devastated than maybe Overshown is that he lost the guy that he was counting on to replace Luke Gifford on all the special teams. So that one certainly hurts. We know John Stevens also tore his ACL.
And by the way, he was out on the practice field.
Bill saw this.
Isaiah Stanback actually saw it first. He was out there, and they were doing some ball drills before practice, and he's out there even with a torn ACL, and he's catching them football and stuff. And those two guys are very similar in terms of their positive spirit that they have about them.
Okay.
You know, John Stevens and DeMarvion Overshown.
And he was going to make the team, too. I mean, it became pretty clear, right?
It was. No one really would have thought that before training camp started, but he had made that kind of impression, not only in practice but also in the first game that he could make an impact in a crowded tight end room.
And they have not had the surgery yet. Correct?
No.
Yeah.
And Overshown said they haven't scheduled his, or at least he doesn't know that it's been scheduled yet. Now, the other downside for both guys, since they're rookies on their rookie contracts, it looks like both guys have split contracts, meaning if you make the team, but you didn't make the team, but if you have to go on injured reserve, you get like 50% of what your base salary was going to be. So
that's a significant downside.
That's
it is.
significant, especially since the first
Cut my
year,
money in half.
I think the first year minimum's getting close to almost,
Even for a draft pick?
not the first or second round,
But the third round.
third, fourth, on down. So the first year base is close to like 800,000.
Yeah, we went
talked
through
about
that
right?
last year.
a couple of months ago.
Yeah. So, that's a significant deal. But, not everybody gets paid to rehab from surgeries. You hope your insurance covers it, me and you, but no one's paying you to go through rehab. So those are those two. Matt Waletzko was at least in pads during the practice. I saw him jogging off to the side, so that's encouraging with the subluxation he suffered in his right shoulder. Ronald Jones was doing the same thing, and that's the first time I saw him in pads since he suffered
forgot all about him.
His injury. Dorrance Armstrong, who's been on and off during training camp, was at least in pads again, jogging on the side. Chuma Edoga is still out. So one of the things I saw in practice when Terrence Steele false started, okay, he's got to come out. Well, who's going to play right tackle? Well, Waletzko's not there. Josh Ball went in to play right tackle, even though he's been working at the right guard position as a backup spot.
And they had T.J. Bass. There were times where because Zach Martin is still ramping up, T.J. Bass was going with the first
and
team.
Because they don't want to wear out Tyron Smith, Awesome Richards was at left tackle.
Awesome.
ASIM. Awesome.
So you better be able to play, right, to live up to your name. So those guys got snaps with the first team, and what Bill pointed out about T.J. Bass, that was significant because they had been working Ball at right guard, and he was now with the second team. So they're taking a longer look at T.J. Bass. Also, Forniak is still with the second team at center. And the reason we mention these things is it's pretty significant. This offensive line is set with Tyron Smith, Tyler Biotish, Zach Martin, and Terrence Steele. But now they've got 3 to 4 backup spots that they've got to settle. And if they're doing it in-house and with Chuma Edoga injured, there's some open spots on this 53-man roster that they're going to have to settle within a week. Oh, one more thing. And with, and you'll like this.
He's pointing at Everson if you're just listening to
it. Sorry. I keep thinking we're on TV. There's cameras all over the place, right? With Overshown out, they have started working Marquise Bell at that linebacker spot that Overshown was working at. And he was like, whatever they want me to do, I'm good with it. And I got a chance to talk with him after practice. And I said, do you ever wake up in the morning and think where you were and where you are now? And he said, every day I feel blessed that and whatever they want, I'll work on it. And,
that sounds like me in college.
Right?
I woke up a lot of days and I'm thinking, where was I and where am I now?
And he's kind of built. He's kind of built to be a linebacker if you look at his size.
That's way off course. There.
Yeah, that's why I just went on. Right.
So in regards to Overshown and Bell, so obviously he was outplaying Bell.
Well, Bell was at safety.
Okay.
Right, and then Overshown was playing kind of the nickel linebacker spot.
Well, see, because that's what they thought of Bell last year. And so I was wondering if he's losing ground or, what he's looking like.
No, they were using him as a true safety.
Nice. Okay.
Close to the line of scrimmage, sort of that J-Ron Curse type thing. And that's what they
how does that position,
at.
because Overshown, it kind of has those same qualities that Curse has. How does the Curse position differ from what the Overshown position was in this defense?
Well, other than experience, right?
But as far as the role on the defense, there's so many sub-packages.
It might have been shared depending on what package they were going to use.
Because you think about it, Bell has that same kind. Although he's smaller, he has the same kind of.
He's not
traits.
As tall, rangy, but the weight is
the way he plays,
and how physical he is. And he was saying, the thing he had to get used to was being closer to the line of scrimmage and seeing the run fits. It seems like all we ever worry about is coverage and ability to rush the quarterback. Right. Well, there's other things that go along with those positions, like playing the run.
Yeah, you have to fit.
Right.
Everyone has to be coordinated.
And you got to see it
fit
sooner.
Up and down the line.
Right, when you're closer to the line of scrimmage.
Like Sean Lee. I always think of Sean Lee. When you're close to the line, he always knew what was coming. He anticipated it, and he would just beat the block. He wouldn't wait on it. He would just beat the block.
So when you were a safety getting close to the line, did you play the run?
I was so smart, Spag. they couldn't fool me, man. No one going to get me. Not at all. I studied.
There we go.
So I got to ask you, when is Taylor getting here? I mean, it's done deal?
Jonathan?
Yeah. I mean, it's done?
We're not talking about that.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I'm an amateur.
You're
here.
on the wrong podcast.
Yeah, sorry for that, sir.
Well, all we can say
Producer
about that
Supreme.
is the Colts gave him permission to seek a trade.
Oh, yeah, that's news.
And Jerry's response basically was that we always look at everything, and he went on and on about, whatever we can take advantage of. And then he got to the back part of it, and he said, but, we do have a salary cap, and we do have things that we have to take care of.
Yeah.
And so that always enters into decisions like that.
We might add, when you think about Zeke's dead cap money,
that's right,
and what Pollard's being paid, how much of this, what percentage of this salary cap is already devoted to running backs?
Well, right off the top of my head,
not much.
Tony Pollard,
no, a lot because of Zeke's money.
Tony Pollard's $10 million,
yeah,
okay, and Zeke's 5.8 in dead money, and another 6 next year.
And then whatever you're paying the other running backs that you're
right,
going to hold,
however many
roster
you're going
that
to
are
keep,
all young
right?
guys.
Yeah. And the other thing, since you brought up running backs, I think it's pretty clear. I don't think we needed to be told this after watching the Seattle game, but Deuce Vaughn's on this 53-man roster.
Oh, man, that was close.
Rest assured.
That was close.
I don't think we have to even worry about that.
Can we talk about Zeke's haircut? I don't
he
know.
had it cut.
Yes.
And let's point that out, that when I ran into him the end of June here at the Star, the hair was cut and the beard was shaved.
Nice.
So it's not like everybody's saying, well, see, Bill Belichick made him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Exactly.
It's a Belichick thing.
That was the first thing, right? Well, it was already done.
Whip him into shape.
Yeah, exactly.
Or was he just grooming for the interviews that he had to do this summer?
And maybe.
In anticipation. Like you're going
like the
interviewing
look,
for a
though.
job.
I think he
executive.
knew he
like
was
the
going to
look.
meet me coming off the elevator, and he said, oh, I better groom up, right?
Well, that's interesting. And I was just looking at over the cap numbers, and as you mentioned, Pollard's at 10.09, and there's a lot of money that's devoted to running backs on this team as it stands right now.
Well, it's going to be, by the time you have 2 more guys on there and base salaries, it's going to be close to, what, 20 million?
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, from practice itself last night, give us your report since you were able to watch practice.
Thought Dak Prescott had a really good practice. Another guy that I thought had a really good practice, and you know what they think of him now because he did not play in the Seattle preseason game. Ferguson had a couple really nice catches along.
Jake Ferguson,
by
the
goal
starting
line.
tight end.
Yes, absolutely. Second year. And, he in the receiving part of the game, I think between him and the other guys, they're going to make us forget Dalton Schultz.
Okay.
I really feel good about that.
More of Mickey's Scout's Eye view of practice last night when we continue. We also have a Cowboys podcast text line that you're very familiar with, Mickey. 817-290-3298 is the text line. And I'm going to be reviewing text and see if any measure up to be used on Mick
your
Shots.
standards to put them on the air.
That's right. When we come back here on Mick Shots.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, Blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys. Isn't that a weird word? Roofer?
Yeah, it sounds a little dangerous.
Yeah.
Just a little dangerous.
Roof.
That was it?
That was it.
Okay.
What are you waiting?
You're
Come
waiting on the
on.
read.
It's one line.
We're not
Okay.
doing reads, Bill. No reads.
Say it one more time.
The official roofer.
No, the whole thing.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, there you go. We're back here with
There
Mick
you
Shots, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Kick it
And
off.
be sure to visit the brand new Miller Lighthouse here in the Star Entertainment District.
Yeah, be ready to start the show.
Usually it goes a good 30 seconds or so before it did all this. It was one line.
That's what it is now.
He was trying to drag out that one line. You just didn't, you didn't catch it.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can watch the Cowboys practice tonight, once again, at the Star, and tomorrow afternoon as well.
In person.
Yeah, and free.
Free.
Yeah.
But we're not streaming it.
No, not streaming it. So you can't sit home and watch it on the stream tonight.
Did they put up that elaborate stage at the Ford Center just for the...
I don't know. That was nice.
Yeah. Up high? Mm-hmm. See, that's the way they should officiate football games, up high like that.
Yeah.
So you can see what's going on.
No, that would take away seats in tickets if you're going to use the bottom section to be able to.
Well, you just put high, like those high chairs that they have for tennis.
Yeah, and then you block people's
and
view of the
volleyball.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you started your review of practice, and you mentioned Dak, and you mentioned Jake Ferguson. I want to hear some defensive guys that caught your eye. From what I was told, Sam Williams looked pretty good.
Sam Williams has looked good all summer long. I think he is another guy that doesn't get a lot of attention just because of how well he played last year. But again, first year to second year, because you almost don't think of Sam Williams as just a second-year guy since he played so much last year. But he's been a force to be reckoned with as a pass rusher, and they will find ways to get him on the field. And one of the things they've been doing is moving some of the defensive ends inside on pass rush. Like a lot of times DeMarcus Lawrence is, when it's in pass rush situation, he's doing it from a tackle position. They were doing it before he got hurt with Dorrance Armstrong also.
I like that.
And having like four bona fide pass rushers.
He plays the run better than any lineman that we have.
Right.
And putting him inside at that tackle position, he's so smart. He knows where the ball. He reminds me, we were talking about Sean Lee. DeMarcus Lawrence is one of those guys.
Right.
He knows where the ball is going before it gets there, and being at that tackle position, that's real strong.
And
that shores us up.
One of the things, another thing that they've been doing, and they haven't really, everybody kind of backs off talking about it, but you can see it, is in some of those passing situations using Leighton Vander Esch as a pass rusher, either as the defensive end or outside the defensive end like they were doing last year with Micah Parsons.
That's a lot of man.
Right?
Yeah, that's a lot of man over there.
And he is enjoying the heck out of that opportunity to rush the quarterback.
Yeah.
So
that could help him with his athleticism.
Yeah, I thought those things stood out. Osa has had a really good camp, one of the starting defensive tackles. And now the decision they're going to have to make on the defensive line, I don't know how many they can keep, but it could come down between Neville Gallimore and Quentin Bohanna on how many big guys you can have out there because Jonathan Hankins, I think, is going to be out there. We'll see if Mazi Smith works his way into a starting spot or at least into the rotation because in training camp, when you got Jonathan Hankins and Mazi Smith lining up inside next to each other, that takes up a lot of space to start with before they even move or don't move. So again, Mazi's starting to come around. I went back and looked at his scouting report, and one of the things they talked about was he was very good at holding up the double team, which I think he has done so far. And then it talked about his weakness was getting off the ball and penetrating, and that's one thing they're still working on him to
it's
get
hard for
more
a big guy to do something like that.
Right.
It's easier said than done.
The thing he's got to learn is not get turned. Like when he comes in and all of a sudden it's his shoulder leading. Well, now they got him, right? Because now they'll take him where he wants to go, right? He's got to go where he wants to go. So that's one of the things they keep working with him.
Let's talk Stephon Gilmore. We got a cornerback that's pretty good in his career that's sitting right here. And, Stephon Gilmore, I was very impressed with him just talking to him. And that's one of the great things about training camp is we get an opportunity to actually talk one-on-one, get 10 minutes or so with players, whatever. And he is a guy who has a great mind for the game. And it was interesting, Everson, because he said, going back to when he started his career, of course, he was a first-round draft pick of the Bills, 11 years ago now. But it was his career took off after Dennis Thurman was hired by the Buffalo Bills as their secondary coach.
Was that when
in 2016
Ryan was coaching?
Yeah,
was that when Ryan was head coach?
I think it may have been, but Thurman was there.
Dennis was his favorite,
and so Thurman Gilmore says in 2016. Just little things that Dennis would tell him.
What are the odds? Bring Dennis Thurman. Wow,
and so here's what happened with. Look at what happened in Gilmore's career right after that. Right, he made the Pro Bowl, I believe, in 2016 with Thurman as his coach. Then he was a free agent. That was his fourth year in Buffalo, And so then he goes to New England. He goes to the Super Bowl the next 2 years, wins one of them, okay? And then 2019, he wins the Defensive Player of the Year in the league.
Yeah.
Dennis Thurman had a pretty good impact on him, wouldn't you say?
Crazy? Dennis Thurman of Thurman's Thieves.
Thurman's Thieves.
And he ended up
right.
influencing someone of that caliber.
So I did an education.
Know that it went back that far.
I had to educate Stefan on the background of Dennis Thurman with the Cowboys and Thurman's Thieves. And
I'm
so we
sure
talked
he had to know a little bit about it.
Yeah, because Dennis told him about it.
He better. He better mention me at 2-4 as well.
Well, and your name came up, and Stefan can't wait to meet you.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
He's a very thoughtful man.
Mm-hmm.
When you interview him, he's not.
He doesn't say just the first thing that comes to his mind. He thinks through and gives you.
And he doesn't go on and on. He makes his point and stops.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very thoughtful.
Sound like Belichick.
He had a.
Because at first, when I was told, okay, we give them a list, the Cowboys media relations crew, we give them a list of guys we'd like to interview. And because he's soft-spoken, Stefan wasn't at the top of our list. And so, so I did, my philosophy in life is everybody's got a story. And sometimes you just have to dig.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, you have to dig a little deeper on some. And as soon as you hit a little hot button with a guy, he'll start talking. And what happened with Stefan was talking about him. He's from Rock Hill, South Carolina, and his high school team. He has high school teammates were Jadeveon Clowney.
Wow.
Devontae Holloman. Remember Devontae Holloman, who was a draft pick here and played very well here and had a neck injury.
Had to retire.
Well, he's now the high school coach, the head coach at their alma mater or whatever. But they were all teammates. Coming out. In fact, Holloman in the Hall of Fame game, his rookie year, returned an interception 75 yards for a touchdown. I mean, he was the DeMarvion Overshown of that class, but sadly suffered a career-ending injury. But he's had a great career already at a very young age, even as a high school head coach in South Carolina. But anyway, soon as I hit that hot button, and Stefan's just talking, and then when I mentioned Dennis Thurman, but then it got me to looking back at the interception numbers, and of course this Cowboys team, 2 straight years leading the league in takeaways. It's not since the Steelers in the 70s has a team done it 2 or 3 years in a row in the case of the Steelers. And Mickey, those numbers from 1981. Okay, which is Everson's.
I was looking at that on YouTube.
And while you're calling that up,
Everson looks at it every day.
Gilmore.
that's what I watch when I work out.
Gilmore had a pick. Gilmore had a pick in the practice last night.
That's right.
Too, by the way,
Everson rookie year, 11 picks, and then 2 more in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis Thurman had 9 interceptions, and Michael Downs had 7 interceptions that year. The Cowboys had 37 interceptions that season to lead the league.
And they led
Thurman's Thieves.
And they led the league this year with 33 takeaways. Wow. So they had 37 interceptions in one season.
When you look at this guy and his relationship with Belichick as well, we have that connection. When you think about how it elevated our careers. He was there longer, of course, with Belichick, and I'm sure that had a lot to do with him being Defensive Player of the Year. Being under that kind of tutelage, because Belichick will make it simple for you. He does all the thinking. He likes to do all the thinking. And if you're smart enough, then you can do it along with him.
It's interesting because I think it came down to the Patriots. It was kind of the same deal that we're seeing right now with another Colts player where they've got an option. They were going to trade Stephon Gilmore. And so it came down to, all right, they're talking to the Cowboys. I believe they're talking to the Patriots too.
Okay.
And Stephon wanted to come to Dallas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So since you brought up Gilmore, bring up Brandon Cooks, because they're almost identical type of people. Both of them are not afraid to help the young guys. Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert followed him like a little puppy the whole time he's been here. And he's been willing to teach, give them advice, not only football advice, but training advice.
You're talking Brandon Cooks?
Brandon
Cooks.
Cooks.
He will take him under his wing, his airplane wing.
Yeah, very good. Bill's been waiting to throw that line out.
What's with the airplane wing?
He flies. Like small planes.
So
okay. Nice.
So there's a
go ahead.
video on over the weekend in Seattle. He took a couple of his teammates up in a plane over Elliott Bay in Seattle.
Wait, you're talking the real plane?
Yeah.
Airplane.
I thought you meant like.
No.
like some video game?
Right? No, the drones or things, something like that.
No,
We're talking flying.
Wow.
Yeah. Now
He reassured.
I would not.
He reassured everybody he had a parachute.
he wasn't, but he also.
How many? Just one?
No. That's right. Well, I don't know. He had Parsons.
Okay, you go Parsons.
There was two people.
We got to have more.
There was
parachutes.
two guys. There was two guys on the plane. Right?
Okay, and if they're fighting over one parachute, who's winning?
You
who's
know who's
winning
gonna
that
win.
fight?
You know who's
It's a buddy
Mike
system.
is gonna be. Mike is gonna be
My
coming
money's
down.
on Parsons.
But
Brandon was also quick to point out
Yes, go ahead.
there is a veteran pilot also on board that wasn't in that picture.
there's
nice.
a co-pilot.
Co-pilot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like a backup.
Yeah.
Or he might have been the main guy.
The
but,
main guy.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. I'm
Yeah, I'm not either.
not that adventurous at all. I don't even like. I've never gone up in a helicopter.
One time I have.
Yeah.
and
Did you like it? No.
No, I'm not
Never.
a fan.
As a matter of fact, I had an opportunity when we first got here, and Jerry was giving everybody tours on the helicopter, and they were having the last ride. And PR asked me, do you want to go up? And this was 2016 after the bus crash. And I said, nah, I think I'll keep my feet on the ground.
And I don't like the name of that, The Last Ride.
Yeah.
Who comes up with
Well, there
what
was
kind of
several.
PR?
There was several
But
going
this
on.
was
It was the last trip, okay?
Well, yeah, that made it. You made it sound like this is the last ride
Right,
of the last
of
ride.
course.
And
Yeah.
So,
This will be your last ride.
all right, we've got the last ride of this edition of Mick Shots coming up in just a
Good
moment.
segue. Nice.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, Blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pregame sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Back to Mick Shots.
Watch two of Texas's best high school football teams face off in the third annual Jerry Jones Classic presented by Whataburger. The Rockwall Yellow Jackets will take on the Cedar Hill Longhorns on Saturday, August 26th at 1 p.m. in the air-conditioned Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. Get your tickets now at SeatGeek.com. You won't want to miss it.
And speaking of those Rockwall Yellow Jackets, Cowboys played against the Seattle Seahawks on Saturday night, and former Rockwall Yellow Jacket Jackson Smith and Jigba had that long 81-yard reception down to the 1-yard line that set up a touchdown. Well, as he was tackled by Eric Scott on that play, he suffered a fractured wrist, and he's undergoing surgery for it. He's out 3 to 4 weeks.
I saw that.
So he's in question for their opener, I think, against Philadelphia.
You know, you brought up somebody that I was always been wondering about and how he's recovered from last year's brief debacle. How's Jalen Tolbert doing this season? This training?
He may be the star of training camp.
Is that crazy?
Outside of Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah. I mean, he's solidified the fourth receiver role, and he may get some with the first team. He has run his routes awfully well. He's catching the ball.
I've seen videos of him doing very well.
One of the things they point out, and McCarthy has said it, it's like last year he was playing wide receiver like connect the dots, A to B to C, and he goes, now he's playing football.
Yeah.
He understands, you just don't execute the route the way it's written down. You've got to be able to read what the defense is doing.
And you have to do it on the run.
And he's making great catches. He's had a tremendous offseason, and he has earned some snaps. I'll tell you another thing I saw in practice today, and maybe because we don't get to see him in the games, Tony Pollard is running really hard and really fast. I thought he was explosive in the practice yesterday.
So you see no lag at all from the surgery itself?
Cuts, being able to do whatever he wants to do. He's got it down.
That is good to hear.
The quote,
I was always worried about that.
The quote from Brian Schottenheimer, who, by the way, of course, was on the staff last year and saw him last year in practice too, about Pollard, you feel his speed. It's real.
That's good.
Yeah, I remember.
I was always concerned in losing Zeke that we would lose that punch up the middle. And last year, we didn't have it until Zeke was in the game. I'm hoping Pollard is going to be that guy that, sometimes you have to change your mentality depending on the play and depending on where you are on the field. I'm hoping he can get into that mentality where when it's 3rd and goal, 4th and goal, I'm getting this touchdown. Yeah, and that's what Zeke had.
Right.
I didn't see Pollard have that last year. I didn't see many backs have that last year when you're talking about Zeke with 12 touchdowns. But I'm hoping Pollard becomes that guy.
And Pollard had, 9 touchdowns rushing last year. And so, there's 21 touchdowns between those two players. And so there needs to be somebody beyond even Pollard who can do that too. Yeah. And I like what I've seen from Rico Dowdle in the preseason.
Okay.
As far as his decisiveness and hitting that hole with some abandon.
Sometimes that's how you go. Yeah. I like that. That's what you need.
And it seems like in this offense, they're throwing more kind of swing passes in the flats to the running backs and giving them ability to run with the ball. Sort of how they're, trying to utilize even more Kevontae Turpin. Get him the ball in space or get him the ball on the run and then let him do his thing. So when we talk about the running backs, they're counting him as a running back, not just a special team guy. So with Tolbert, that's 5. And what they've got to decide is, do they keep 6? Simi Fehoko, Jalen Brooks, where do those guys fit into the equation? Same thing at the running back. If Pollard's 1 and you decide Dowdle's 2, Vaughn's 3, do you have room for Malik Davis as the 4th?
What I saw last year was the running backs were a check down. Now you see that the running back is primary.
Like a called play?
Yes, and that you get it out to them much quicker. Last year we saw Dak looking down the field, nothing's there. Pressure's getting to him. Let me just bail out. They're not bailing out.
And by then the defense is already
they're
reacting to it too.
And actually, we forget this, but that's how they used Emmett. It wasn't just checkdowns. Yeah. They were putting him in.
There's a reason that Emmett averaged about 60 to 65 catches a year.
Right.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Along with Darryl Johnson, at least 40. Those were called plays.
Darryl could catch?
Darryl could catch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, if you think back to that San Francisco game in the playoffs with Emmett, it was a pass over the middle, and it was not a dump off. It was he ran a route, turned around, waited for the ball, and then I believe he went for a touchdown in that 92 NFC title game.
Well,
Are
it
we
looks
out of
like
time
we're
already?
out of time.
Hey, we got 10
11
seconds.
seconds.
It's going to be like
okay,
McCarthy.
one last Mick
We're
shot.
not leaving anything on the field, right?
So one last Mick shot.
I used the one I was going to tell you. Oh, I know. CeeDee Lamb also had a good practice yesterday. He and Dak were on the same page except for one pass, and it got intercepted, and I saw Dak kind of run downfield, and the two talked about it right away.
Hey, guys, defensive players, they're out there for a reason.
Right? They're supposed to get the
they're
ball.
supposed to make some freaking plays.
But he and CD had a couple. They had a free play on one. There was a offsides, and Dak threw the ball right down the middle, and he went up. I don't know how he got up that high and made the catch, which reminded me of a catch. You said only one thing, right? In training camp, he went up so high, it's like it was a Michael Jordan thing. He got up and he stayed up, right? He wasn't coming.
Hang time.
How do you hang like that, right? To make a catch and then fall basically on his back because he got up so high. He's had an awfully good offseason also, or I should say training camp also.
All right, you want to do it again on Friday?
Yeah, let's do it.
Might as well. I got time.
9 o'clock?
I got time.
Okay.
Nine's good.
All right, 9 o'clock.
You got to wake up early.
8. I'll be here at 8:59.
Or get here at
8:59.
8:50, and then you can have breakfast.
No, I'm going to get breakfast now.
Oh, well, they're going to stay open, so
That's
Everson
right.
can
I'm
get there.
going
for
to
Everson.
breakfast now.
All right, we appreciate you joining us here for Mick Shots, and we'll see you again Friday at 9 a.m.
Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!